Look, if you've ever felt like biology is just a dry textbook packed with endless terms you have to memorize, I want you to literally throw that idea right out the window. Today, we're embarking on a super dynamic journey into the very architecture of life itself. We're going to explore the microscopic blueprints that build literally everything around us, from the tallest trees to the cells inside your own body. We'll look at how life scales, how it takes shape, and how it actively defends itself. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive right into this. For centuries, humans looked at plants and animals and really had absolutely no idea how they functioned on a fundamental level. Cracking the secrets of the cell, that was the ultimate biological light bulb moment for humanity. It was the spark that illuminated the microscopic building blocks of life. It revealed this incredibly vast world of machinery and structure operating completely unseen right under our noses.
And the truly fascinating thing here is that biology is literally a massive, complex puzzle just waiting to be solved. Every single fact we learn, every dimension we measure, every chemical structure we uncover, it's just one tiny golden piece of a much larger puzzle. And as we place these pieces together today, figuring out how a cell is shaped, how big it gets, and what it's made of, we're basically watching this beautiful, complex picture of life snap perfectly into place.
Section 1. Cellular shapes and sizes. Form follows function.
Now, what's really interesting here are the extreme biological contrasts between different cell types. First up, take the mesophyll cell. It's round and oval, measuring exactly 7 micrometers in diameter. That specific shape is perfectly optimized for packing tightly into plant leaves to catch sunlight. But then, contrast that with the white blood cell. It doesn't even have a fixed, rigid shape. It's amoeboid, which means it can actually morph and change its shape to squeeze through your tissues and hunt down invaders. Pretty cool, right? Then we have columnar cells. These are long and narrow, basically acting like tall, protective pillars lining our tracks. And finally, the nerve cell. It's highly branched and incredibly long, designed specifically to reach out and transmit signals across vast distances in your body. It perfectly proves one of the golden rules of biology: form strictly follows function.
Section 2. Extremes of biological scale. Before we zoom way down into the incredibly small stuff, let's actually start at the absolute top. The ostrich egg. Now, this isn't just a fun piece of trivia, it's a profound biological fact. The ostrich egg represents the largest isolated single cell in the entire world. It's so massive that you can literally hold a single cell in the palm of your hand and feel its weight. It shows us the extreme upward limit of what one single biological unit can achieve right before we start our long descent into the microscopic realm.
Okay, now let's zoom in dramatically and establish our microscopic baseline. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. We've got your typical eukaryotic cell. These are the complex ones that make up plants, animals, and, well, you. They measure between 10 and 20 micrometers. But compare that baseline to the typical prokaryotic cell, which is an older, simpler class of cells. Those measure just 1 to 2 micrometers. We're already dealing with entities so unbelievably small that you could fit 10 prokaryotes across the width of a single eukaryotic cell.
Let's step down the ladder just a little bit further, 3 to 5 micrometers. This specific number range represents the length of a typical bacteria. Down at this scale, all those complex structures we're used to seeing in higher life forms are completely stripped down to their most rugged, essential components.
Continuing our descent, we hit 0.1 micrometers. We've now moved way past a whole micrometer and are dealing purely in tiny decimals. To put that into perspective, this is 100 times smaller than the eukaryotic cells we were looking at just a few moments ago. We are literally peering into the deep, invisible basement of the biological world.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Because stepping down even further, we hit 0.02 to 0.2 micrometers. We have officially reached the absolute tiniest biological entities on our scale. At 0.02 micrometers, we're pushing the very limits of what can physically contain the machinery necessary to interact with life. It's a staggering reminder of just how vastly different the scales of life truly are.
Section 3. Constructing the cell wall. Architectural materials.
So now that we've grasped the incredible extremes of how large and how tiny these cells can be, let's shift gears from size to architecture. Think of these different chemical makeups like architectural building materials. Take algae, for example. Its cell wall uses cellulose, galactans, mannans, and notably calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is literally the stuff of seashells and limestone. It acts like the rigid concrete and steel of the aquatic biological world, giving algae this tough, hard armor. But higher plants take a totally different architectural approach. They use cellulose too, but they mix it with hemicellulose, pectin, and proteins. And yeah, pectin is that exact same sticky substance you'd use to make fruit jams. This mix creates a flexible, dynamic bricks and mortar structure. It's what allows higher plants to grow incredibly tall, bend in the wind without snapping, and construct massive, intricate forests. Same fundamental purpose, protection and structure, but completely different engineering solutions.
Section 4. Powering the cell. Microscopic engines.
So the crucial point here is this. All these incredibly complex outer walls, whether they're made of biological concrete or flexible brick and mortar, they don't just exist for the fun of it. They're there to protect something absolutely vital. Deep inside those fortified walls lie the cellular engines, specifically the mitochondria and the plastid. These two organelles are the ultimate microscopic powerhouses driving the entire life of the cell. The mitochondria, which you probably know as the powerhouse of the cell, breaks down nutrients to generate the sheer energy required for survival. And the plastid, which in plants includes the chloroplasts, is responsible for actually capturing the energy of the sun itself. They're the roaring engines operating safely behind those architectural walls we just explored.
Which brings us to a really compelling final thought. We've explored the bizarre and diverse shapes cells can take, the mind-bending extremes of their scales, and the brilliant chemistry of their outer walls. But as we look at the engines humming within, you have to wonder, what other mysteries lie hidden inside these microscopic powerhouses? The architecture of life is vast, it's incredibly detailed, and it's continuously surprising. We've literally only just begun to uncover the secrets of this microscopic universe, so keep that curiosity alive, keep piecing the puzzle together, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.